There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than thinking that you've got it won, right? Thinking that the game's over, thinking that you've won, thinking that you've made it, only to find out in the very last second that you lost. I mean, it stays with you, right? Like, it literally haunts you. You start to think like, man, if I just could have got like one more block or one more catch, if I would have got like one less stroke or one less drink last night. Maybe it's if I would have made that phone call, if I would have followed up one day earlier. One decision making the difference that ultimately determines whether you win or whether you lose. Now, see, a lot of people deal with this in life, right? They start off like Kenny. Kenny's all excited. He's over at Dan Cummins right now. He's super, super excited, right? And so we start off at work and we've got all this excitement. And then 90 days later, or maybe it's 9 months later, or maybe it's 9 years later, all of a sudden it's become mundane. All of a sudden it's become mundane. We look like this. We start to dread it. We can't even stand the thought of going to work on a Monday morning. Or maybe it's in our marriage. We start off in our marriage, everybody's hot and heavy, everybody's excited to spend time together, and we have our beautiful wedding day, and we celebrate our love for one another. And then at some point, not for all, but for some, at some point, our marriage goes from being a winning part of our life to a losing. For some of us, it's financially. We have some financial gains, or we have some wins financially, some big opportunities, some windfalls, and maybe it's tax season. We got our tax money back, and now all of a sudden we're ahead of the game. We paid all of our bills, and we're doing okay financially. We're winning, but then over time, we fall back behind. And the longer that we do this and stay in this perpetual situation of thinking we're going to win and losing at the last second, the worse it gets. You see, I believe that the reason that this happens is that a lot of people, they simply don't realize that they're only in the first quarter. We're just getting going. The first quarter. That's it. You see, I like to refer to sports sometimes because when you look at sports, it's really easy to see, like, over a period of just a few hours, you can see like a whole life, right? You can see a whole life, you can relate to it, right? And so statistically, if you look at sports, you'll find this very interesting. Statistically, most points in professional sports are scored during the first half. You see, in the first half, teams have more energy. They have more excitement and anticipation. They have unknown strategies. The defense doesn't know exactly what's going on, and so therefore they have early success. Now, in the second half, you can see that they're much more tired. They're much more worn down. There's a lot less energy, and the other team starts to know the strategies, and so they start to fall into more of a routine style of playing ball, therefore less points in the second half. Now, in the end of doing this, you ultimately have a result, right? That result is either you blew them out, the team blew them out for the win, like Matt Gassman's high school squad yesterday. I think they made it to state, which is incredible, right? So they either blow them out, you're either going to blow it out of the park, or they lose the game, right? It's a loss, it's a win, it's a blowout, and sometimes you don't know which way it's going to go until the very last second. And see, whether or not you win that game, the long game, winning the game in the fourth quarter, not the first quarter, whether or not you win that game is ultimately going to come down to the decisions that you make along the way. You see, look at it this way. Like, I believe in eternity, okay? I'm a believer. I believe in eternity. And when I look back, the decisions that were ultimately made by my forefathers have directly impacted who I am today. They've directly impacted my life today. The decisions that were made by generations and generations and generations and generations and generations and generations going back in time for eternity, all of those decisions have ultimately put me right here with you Wednesday, March 11th, 2020, 5:30 a.m. on #Rise and Grind. All of those different decisions. Now, also the decisions that I make today, just like the decisions they made impacted me today, the decisions I make today are ultimately going to determine outcomes in the future for eternity. Now, when you start to think about eternity, you start to realize that this quarter that we're in, this season that you're in, whatever that season looks like for you, it's really just the first quarter. It's really just a small subsection, a short season in comparison to eternity. So why not live it to its fullest? Why not go all in on life during this tiny, short season? You see, when I was at 10X GrowthCon, when I was at 10X GrowthCon, this guy, Scooter Braun, was on stage, and he was talking about, and he said something really powerful. He said, everyone is a genius at something. And I believe that that's true. You see, I believe that genius, that thing in you that makes you unique, that gift that you've been giving, that's been with you from the beginning and will be with you forever, for eternity. I believe that genius is your source. That genius is your source, and that is your opportunity to ultimately make the impact. That's where you need to go all in. That's how you make the long-term impact. That's how you get through the second quarter, the third quarter, the fourth quarter. That's how we make these eternal decisions versus making these small first quarter decisions that ultimately run out, that ultimately wear out. Thinking about eternity and stepping into your genius. Last night, the last 2 nights actually, because it takes us 2 nights to watch a movie, my wife and I watched The Matrix again. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. My wife had never seen it, but she likes Keanu Reeves. So we watched The Matrix, and if you've ever seen the movie, at the end of The Matrix, Keanu Reeves goes to the source. He goes to his source. And a lot of people probably don't know or recognize, but in this particular scene right there, or right here that I'm showing you, you can see that Keanu Reeves, as he steps into the source, it makes a cross on his chest. You see, the source is your father. The source is your forefather, the one that made decisions ultimately for you to impact your life today, to give you an opportunity to live your life to the fullest. And so my question is, are you going to go all in? Are you going to go all in on life? Live it to your fullest? Because you owe it. You owe it to those that came before you and those that'll come after you.
My son is to go out and shoot 100 shots. My daughter is to go out and make 100 shots. I'm gonna say it again because you missed it. My son, dude, he go out, all right, Dad, 100 shot, 100, I did it. My daughter's still out there. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm only at 98 right now. I got 2 more to make. It's a different mentality. And the greats are the greats because they have a different mentality. The greats don't play for themselves. The greats understand that they play as a team. The greats ain't about personal achievements. The great, and they're about team. When they ask Michael Jordan, who's the best, MJ, you or LeBron? Who's the best, you or Kobe? He says, no, y'all got it twisted. It's not who's the greatest player, it's who's the greatest team. MJ said, now if anybody can brag and say they the cream of the crop, they the top of the top, MJ said it's not the best player. This basketball, one man can't do it all. It's not the best player, it's the best team. And some of y'all need to understand that concept. And some of you in your life, the reason why you're not at your goal right now, because you just all about your feelings. You all on your feelings. You don't feel like waking up. So who does?
Forget that there was any sunlight left. What would you spend today thinking about? Yourself or the man that's beside you? Or the man that you know you'll give everything in your heart for? We get one opportunity in life, one chance in life to do whatever you're gonna do, to lay your foundation, to make whatever mark you're gonna make, whatever legacy you're gonna leave your legacy. And it's found through effort. Wins and losses come a dime a dozen. But effort, nobody can judge effort. Because effort is between you and you. Effort ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. So that team that think they're ready to see you, they think what they seen on film, they ain't saw what film shows. Because every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment. So now you got to go out and show them that I'm a different creature now than I was 5 minutes ago. Because I'm pissed off for greatness. Because if you ain't pissed off for greatness, that means you okay with being mediocre. Ain't no man in here okay with being just basic.
Success, guys, is a very, very lonely road, man. Very few people are willing to endure pain, the sacrifice, and diligence to be successful. It's an uphill battle. Along that road, you're not going to see too many friends. You're going to see your shadow most often. You got to trust in the heart of hearts. Inside what you're doing, what you believe in, is a worthy cause, a winnable fight. See, the thing is, for many people, they've tried the same path you're on, and they failed. Your success is like a spotlight shining down on their missed opportunities. Success, many will love you for it. The majority will hate you. It's not the title that makes you. It's not the success that makes you. The character defines the success, defines the fame, and it starts right there. Championships aren't won in the theater or the arena. How you hold yourself in the small things of life. Build the character winning blocks of the things that we'll remember for. I see them as one and one the same, guys. It begins right now with no one looking, man. And how you hold yourself, how you see yourself. What do you do when no one's watching? If you do it then, I guarantee you, you'll be doing it when everyone's watching. You want to change the situation, move from where you are. The journey is not easy. Before you start that journey mentally, you must fuel yourself with the right reasons, the right fuel to sustain the entire journey. Sacrifice today for tomorrow's betterment. But if we don't know what that betterment is, the want factor of what we're really doing it for, we can't win this war, guys. And you combine the mind and the body together, that's when life gets exciting, guys.
This is only the first quarter, my friends. That's it. That's it. This is only the first quarter. You have your whole life ahead of you. You have eternity ahead of you. Your opportunity to make an impact on others starts with the decisions that you make today. So my question is, are we going to get to the end and we thought we were winning, but ultimately we're going to lose? Or are we going to make the decisions today to make sure that it's a blowout? That we're absolutely, without a doubt, going to win. Win in our relationships. Win in our careers. Win financially. Win with purpose and joy. Win spiritually. We can guarantee that win today. The decisions you make right now during this short season, during the first quarter, can ultimately determine your results.